take two. Yeah, we're going to try this again. We're adjusting our, just did some Wi-Fi settings and communicated a little bit, so I think we're going to be back on track at this point. Let me see if we got, let's see if this works. Bye. Can you hear me now?
Bingo, bingo.
Good, there we go. So,
We're
hey,
in.
Sean, how you doing?
I'm good, dude. I'm real
Yeah.
good, man.
Sorry.
Where
Yeah,
are you, man?
I'm just like, I changed, little change of location, doing like a staycation, just staying, staying nearby, staying safe, obviously, but
Got it.
doing that kind of stuff. And,
Cool.
oops, sorry. Yeah, so sorry about missing last week, everyone. I was finishing up a class and then just scheduling and all this kind of stuff. So, we might be doing this on Mondays. We're still kind of up in the air. We're still going to continue doing this. But thank you for tuning in, everyone.
Don't worry, guys. We're still a fly by the seat of your pants kind of operation over here.
That's how we do best. It was what we do best. So
bingo, bingo.
Mm-hmm. But we've been keeping an eye on the Anchor app. We're close to I think we're gonna hit 100 listens pretty soon, 100 listeners, and we're chugging along. We're gonna be, so thank you for those who are tuning in. I hope it helps your commute. And the gate over there is swinging and making you think there's a ghost. Ghosts that come out at night are scary, but ghosts that come out in the day are terrifying.
Well, like Houdini, I always had to be home by 10, right before the fun was about to begin. The movie Up. Let's talk about it.
Let's get into this. I forget how supremely sad it makes me at certain points. It makes me question life. It makes me question what I'm doing. But
this movie ruins me emotionally.
Yeah.
I know it's coming, and I just can't help it. It hurts to watch this movie, and I do it far too often. I haven't watched the movie in years because I know how much it affects me.
Exactly, yeah. And I remember the first time I saw this. So, our friend Logan, one day, it was just one of those spur of the moment things where it was like, "Oh, you want to see a movie? Oh yeah, the new Pixar movie's out. Oh, okay, yeah, I heard it was good." And that's all we had heard. And we go and we watch it, and then we're just like, oh no.
Yeah, dude.
Just bro tears, just like.
Oh man, yeah, it's 30 minutes of just, they do this. Pixar's got this device that they like doing where the whole first 30 minutes of a movie is its own short almost,
Yeah.
And it really creates this, and they really, it's so much time spent on exposition that you're incredibly invested in the character that you just watched
Right off the bat,
yeah. And they don't do this in it's not something they do in Toy Story or in Bug's Life, but you start picking up on this in Wall-E and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, I feel like also you kind of start to feel it in Cars, because you get this whole one version of Lightning McQueen right before it goes the other way. You know what I'm saying? And but I mean, and this one specifically, man, it's truly tragic and an absolute masterpiece. Masterful the way they're able to play your heartstrings like that.
Yeah.
From the whole you buy in as a child. You're watching tune in this week on Spirit of the Adventure. You know what I mean?
And you're swept away by that, and
yeah, you're a child. Bam. And then you meet this girl who's gonna be your best friend, who you can already tell, is gonna be absolutely perfect for you. From the moment that you meet her, and you're just, oh my God. And the devotion that he has for that woman starts at such a young age, when he breaks his everything, walking across the plank and everything,
Just the timing of that plank. Yeah.
Dude, that's all of us.
Yeah, we all have that one person that we would just be like, oh, a single plank? Sure.
For you, anything, man.
Immediate ambulance.
Yeah. And I think that's what love is. If not, Pixar's lying to me. But you know what I'm saying?
Would you walk over a plank for her?
And I would.
Love.
Oh my gosh. The whole, there's this really, really cool, just the way the balloons tie into everything from when they're children. All the
first
way
moment,
through. Yeah, I love that that line right through the whole movie. It's
Hmm.
wonderful to keep track of, you know.
Yeah.
And like it's the basis for like what goes on to be some really fun, just like facts of the world. The way this world
Hmm.
works is so fun, so whimsical, and like just
Yeah, there are a lot of images in this that it's just like the flying house is such a fantastical image, but it works within this world. And it just every time you
yeah.
see it, you're like, oh, there it is, it's flying. Yep, that would make sense. And there's, as with many movies, there's that suspension of disbelief. There's that leap in logic, and this movie just makes those leaps so much fun as you
Hmm.
get further and further more into the fantastical, the action adventure of it. And but I think like the whole first, like you said, the first 30 minutes is just that emotional core. It's building, like,
And
yeah.
Carl starts off as like, you know, like his genesis through the first 30 minutes is so huge. You know,
Hmm.
he starts off as like really bold and adventurous, and then really shy when he meets the girl, and makes his way back to bold and adventurous, but he doesn't quite have like, you know, the body or the, you know, the
Hmm.
God-given abilities to be as bold and adventurous as his heart wants him to be, as
Yeah.
much as his wife is. His wife
Hmm.
has she's got the body to take on the world, you know.
Hmm.
And you see that when they're chugging up the hill and he's having a hard time and she pulls him up along, you know.
Hmm.
And that symmetry on the other side of it was so beautiful and heart wrenching, and it
Something's
sucked.
changed. There's been a shift. It's like all of it's communicated in like seconds. And it's like,
They can't. They're once again they're telling a story to kids, Marco. Here that like,
yeah.
I mean, it's not for kids. She can't have
Yeah.
children, bro. She can't. She couldn't bear children,
Yeah.
and that's a whole. I can't. I mean, we're at that age right now where we're like that. These are the things that are coming to us now. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's like when we first, even when Logan watched this movie, that didn't hit you the way it did this time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
And
it's like, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and like the need for legacy and the need for purpose, you know, is so evident in those.
Hmm.
Just and there's no dialogue. It's just,
Yeah.
but you can just see it. You can feel it, and you can see how that when Stella gets her groove back at the end there and everything, and how they kind of realign their lives
Hmm.
up until he realizes that he should have been the legacy that he wanted to give her was going to be in South America, Paradise Falls.
Hmm. I think the quote that hit me during the married life montage, the little 10-minute montage everyone talks about, is it's like there's a John Lennon lyric where it's like life is what happens when you're busy making plans.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're always, you're jumping from the next thing to the next, and there's like these little spontaneous moments that you're never going to be able to plan for, you're never going to anticipate. And I think being able to roll with those punches and to ride those waves and that kind of stuff, that's the spice. That's the,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's just they and like nothing happens with that financial stuff where it's like a tree. Like I think like the tree fall on the house is crazy because that tree's like twice the size of the house, but it's
Well,
like
just
there's,
for a penny's a day, Marco.
yeah, yeah.
I thought that was
You
so
too.
great. Like, it's like every time it's like, oh, we'll just use some coins. We'll take care of it.
Hmm.
It's like, how
Yeah,
much coins are inside of that thing?
that's a lot of coins.
Are those
We
all
we were
silver dollars?
Yeah, exactly. They're all rare coins. Like they're not just
None of
pennies.
them. Yeah.
These are rare pennies.
We got wooden
Uh,
nickels.
hmm.
I got silver dimes,
Doubloons and ingots and just
ruples.
breaking pots and hey, don't break my pots. Getting rupees. Um, and there's just I love the gag during the wedding where they pan to Ellie's family and it's just like they're all crazy. And you're like, oh yeah, they're crazy. And then just a gun goes off and you're like, wait a second, hold on. And then it pans to the other side and it's like Carl's side and they're just,
When I saw that, I thought maybe it would have made sense that she was pregnant in that moment for like the
mm-hmm,
shotgun wedding gag, you know?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But alas, they were going to break our hearts once again.
I like
Uh,
during that we get a little world building. Carl sells balloons,
mm-hmm,
and we see that his balloon stand will take off if he
mm-hmm,
doesn't keep his hand on it, and so he knows a little something about this whole balloon stuff.
yeah. And like I think it's interesting that I think like Ellie works at the reptile house and just like holding snakes and doing a thing, and it's just it this it makes you feel the passage of time in this like
Well,
incredibly real. Yeah.
there's a devotion they have towards each other. Like they become one. They
Hmm.
become like a symbiotic being where they're just one thing. He gets up
Hmm.
each day, he does this, she does that, and it works. And by the end of the whole thing, she puts on the tie, and that's
Hmm.
how he can't leave without the tie. Like that's part of the whole. And I think that diving into losing somebody that you're devoted to that much in a
Hmm.
children's movie is
Yeah.
so incredibly bold, so incredibly bold. Like we're gonna get this again in Coco,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
like, man, they really know how to use a children's device to talk to me.
It's like I think what's interesting is that like they do it in a way where like you can pull things from your life and apply it, but it's not only you, it's not only everyone can it's universal in its emotions and stuff. And it's like I know we
Hmm.
keep going back to it, but it's like it's so good how they do it. I like watching this movie now. I think about how my grandfather passed away like relatively young, and like my grandmother lived for like another 20, 30 years without him, and she always was traveling. She always sent me postcards. That was what she did. That's how I started my postcard collection. I just think about that in this movie, and I'm just like, I can't imagine
What was
what
her
that's like.
disposition like?
Oh, she was cheery to herself, but she always volunteered and stuff. And just she she had this magical power where she would be the grandma that would bring Krispy Kreme to the end of the soccer game on Saturday, and somehow they were always warm. I don't know how she did it. I don't get it.
Into
It's like,
that,
yeah, like
liked it a lot.
like mystical grandmas, like mystical grandparents. That's just like that's a superpower. Like
That's a thing. That's for sure a
everybody
thing.
has one. Like or a lot
Yep.
of people have had them, and it's just um, and you think about that, and it's just like what it must be like to be in, like you said, in that routine, and to have it just like thrown out. And like, what do you do? Like, what? Well, and with Carl, he kind of
Well, you
closes
see,
in.
he doesn't just close in. He loses his mind essentially, like we all do. But the
Hmm.
house becomes Ellie.
Yeah, to him. Yeah.
He has full on conversations with the house. That's his
Hmm.
connection. And shoot, man, I get it, man. Go ahead. Like I am not. I think that's a healthy coping mechanism
Hmm.
personally.
Hmm. And I
I
think
think
like,
it was really telling to see how devastated he was to lose her though.
yeah.
That whole like the change in person, because he's
Hmm.
so
His
happy.
posture. Yeah.
He's so happy. He's so utterly happy before that. And that
Hmm.
catastrophic loss, man. You see not to change of posture, his brows all low
Yeah, he
now and
becomes
everything.
square, more square.
Hmm.
And it's
Everything's
like,
hard on him. All the edges on him become hard. It's just
yeah, little morning routine,
gray.
and you like hitting the
Hmm.
little clock. Stand by for jets.
Hold on. I almost forgot. I have to get my laundry. Give me a right.
Okay, they found me.
They found you.
Yeah, I know, right? They're
It's
searching for
nice
me.
where you're staying, man. It's nice.
It's nice weather. Like I wish we were here, man. It'd be really cool. Like, you know. But
Yeah.
the movie's really neat, and there's like all this kind of like neat theming going on with it, and how I was fascinated with this little like chair going down the stairs. I think that's really fun, and how
I like how he
you know,
smacks it.
yeah, and he just hits it and does all that. Um, but like with the city building around him, it's that theme of like the world is moving on, or like he's kind of not stuck in the past, but he's holding on to the past. Amen. And there, what's interesting too, though, is when he talks to the construction workers, there's this interesting dynamic where it's like you got John Ratzenberger's character just like, oh, hey, Mr. Fredrickson, like we're here to talk to you about your house, and like you can tell this has been based on the dialogue. They've been coaxing him to sell
Hmm.
his house, and you can understand both sides of it, and then but at the same time, like they're kind of hounding this poor old man. And like,
I mean, you love Ratzenberger's spot because we've all been the guy who you have to just, it's like, look, man, this is dumb. I know
mhm,
I don't want to tell you this, but my boss is right over there.
mhm,
I got to look, man.
yeah, I have to do
We
something.
don't do
Yeah,
free refills, bro. I'm sorry. You
yeah.
got to buy another Pepsi.
John Ratzenberger at your local one. Hey there, you want to buy a frosty from? Make him sound like
Yeah.
Barney
I
Rubble
hear
over
those
here.
snow cones?
You wanna?
Snow cones.
Don't worry, it's lemon. And
Um,
I think what was interesting with that whole scene was like they have like I always call his boss Agent Smith in my head because he just looks like he's in the
yeah.
Matrix. He's just like there with his glasses. And I think what's interesting upon watching it again, at least it stuck out to me this time, is when the I'm jumping ahead just a smidge and we'll get back to the introduction of a character. When the dump truck hits the mailbox, you can tell that the guy that like got hit is like, hey, stop, stop, like he's trying to do his job. Like it's just that like you feel bad for both of them when it comes
Yeah.
to that conflict because you're like, wait, hold on, like he didn't mean it obviously, and like he wants to help, but like he doesn't want his help, and it's just that raising tension of misunderstanding. But um, yeah, so
I totally feel for Carl in the
yeah,
sense that like, man, like that's what put him over the edge,
hmm something
you know?
so like
Although
mundane.
upon rewatching it, it's hilarious because like he put prune juice in his gas tank and that was okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Can you imagine, like, what happened to your car, man? Like, did you get in a crash? No, an old man poured prune juice into the gas tank. Oh, man. It's like when people get thrown out of Disneyland. I can't imagine, like, hey, what'd you do? What are you in here for? Well, you see, I was at Disneyland. Wait a second. Hold on. Um, but yeah, Carl goes back into his house, and there's another knock on the door, and this time it is not John Ratzenberger. It is, in fact, a local wilderness explorer.
Russell.
Caw, caw, rawr.
I
Um,
should have I should have memorized this thing in the beginning.
good afternoon.
Yeah.
Did you have any scouting experience? I say that like it's this like thing, but like,
I mean like all right, so like, some people are in the Boy Scouts and some
hmm
people's friends are in the Boy Scouts and your
hmm
mom makes you go on all the adventures with all the Boy Scouts and you never were actually in the Boy Scouts.
hmm that was you.
That's me.
Gotcha,
I've never received a badge, but I've earned a lot of badges.
gotcha. I feel like we need to make you like a badge where it's just like the
The grape
pizza.
soda one.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. That's the one I want.
It's just like so. I did scouting. I didn't do the whole 9 yards. I became an Eagle Scout, so like I know a couple of
Time
skills.
out.
Like
Time
yes,
out.
hmm
Time out. You just said I didn't do the whole 9 yards. And
right.
then next sentence said, so I became an Eagle Scout.
So uh, um,
Demanding explanation. Go
yeah,
ahead.
for more explanation, there are awards and ranks you can get to post Eagle Scout that are like, and you can, there's like Sea Scouts, there's High Adventure Scouts, there's all this stuff, and I didn't do anything past that. And Eagle Scout was such a funny thing because I remember the
Bro,
whole time, yeah,
it goes Cub Scout, Boy Scout, and then you made it. You did Eagle Scout. I don't know about all these awards and whatnot. Yeah, I
yeah.
get it. You weren't top percentile
I didn't
of
I
the
didn't go
scouts.
on like a 20-mile hike or anything, or I didn't pilot my own ship through a storm with one arm tied behind my back and you know. But what was I remember being drilled into my head as a scout was they were like, "Oh man, you're gonna get so many jobs because you're an Eagle Scout." And all Eagle Scouts are, it's a conversation starter. It's like, "Hey man, what'd you do for your Eagle project?" And I I crap you not. There are um 90% of the people who do Eagle Scout projects, it's always landscaping. We planted a bunch of flowers and we picked up weeds, and nothing wrong with that. That is a valiant effort. But you'll go back to those community gardens and they get like converted into like sand traps after a while. And so the people are like, "Oh, what'd you do for your project?" I'm like, "Oh, I completely like redid uh, the interior of a storage closet at a school. Like we took everything down to like the studs and then redid the walls, painted the walls, cleaned the toys, and like it was a big thing. And like and I hope it's still okay that school is still there. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping that when that school falls down and then they build another school and it falls down, that my Eagle project is still there. It's
that's
just
great.
like, but
I saw a fun
wilderness.
gag contractors doing where they put fake skeletons in walls.
Oh no,
Yeah,
treasure
dude.
maps and like,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that way, like, when someone comes later to remodel something, it's like, wait a minute, what is? Oh my God, what is this?
see, I would want to do that with like, I would want to do that with a non-supporting wall that is likely to get taken down. Like, because you know how like that whole remodeling thing with contractors, where it's like you blow up everything except for a wall and a fireplace, and it's considered a remodel. And
Yep.
so I think it'd be funny to put it in a wall that is highly likely to be blown up and like have like a scroll that says like whoever waketh me from my slumber will suffer the curse of, suburbia. Just be like have like a have a skateboard with a skull on it or something. Oh no, there's a totally gnarly curse here that's gonna take me out. Then we call them the Boy Scouts, and that's our next movie, Sean. It's just gonna be Boy Scout Ghostbusters taking out a remodeling ghost.
It's gonna be what do you say? Like not to the top.
Yeah,
It's gonna
yeah.
be not the top. I don't know. We gotta do something about how the fact that you're not top flight Eagle Scout.
Hmm.
You only made it so far.
Halfway to the top, climbing the summit. Oh, let's see. Hello from Disneyland. Hi, yeah. Hope you're having a good time. Go to Pizza Planet, snap a photo for us. I feel like there's so much room there. They could park a truck there.
They could definitely park a truck there.
They could
A
park two
truck could take
trucks.
up a. They could park a whole Pizza
They could
Planet
park a truck on
truck.
top of another truck. Yo, dog, I
Yeah.
heard you like trucks. I put a truck on a truck. And so anyway, back to Russell being a scout. Um, I never
Yeah.
had to do helping the elderly. That
Hmm.
sounds really bad. That was not one of the requirements of Boy Scouts, being helpful to elderly folks. Um, but
Sure seems like it from the commercials.
yeah, I know, right? It's always all the paintings and stuff. Like they're doing crazy stuff. Um,
Hmm.
so Russell gets sent on a wild goose chase looking for a snipe
Hmm.
that ends up looking like a rat. Like, you know,
3 claps, baby.
woo. Um, and yeah, just he just gets sent off, and you're like, okay, well, maybe that kid's gone for a while. Like, I mean, I remember the original trailer and how he
Real quick,
appeared
real
in it.
quick.
Yeah,
Hey, Brett's Wild Ride. Go to the Pizza Planet and then go get a pizza slice and give us your honest review in here.
I
Okay?
know their pasta's really good. I just want them to have an
Pastas are fire.
arcade. I don't know if
No,
they're
for
open
real.
right now. They
I
might not
want
be
the
open.
alien slushy machine. That's all I want is alien slushies. That's it.
Just like from five, like slushies taste better when they're dispensed from 3 feet above you. Just it's
Exactly.
science. It's science. It's like how,
Exactly. Will there be
like
slushy everywhere? Yes. And just like Carl's Jr., if it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in my face.
exactly. See, it's like how like spicy McDonald's Sprite is just different. It hits different.
It
Or
does.
like cheese paper at taco places and stuff. Um, so then from there we have the instigating event of um, Carl hitting the poor ginger guy, and um, they come to collect him the next day. And I think the line about that the police officer says to him of, I don't think you're a public menace, and it's just like, can you imagine slapping that on a poor single old man? Just
I
like,
can't believe that it goes to show you, it's supposed to be the whole idea that they represent big business, they represent
yeah,
money. They
yeah,
don't represent anything besides that. That's why they don't have mouths, that's why they don't have
hmm
facial features. You're not supposed to feel for them.
hmm
They're supposed to feel like corporate, like just,
cold corporate bureaucrats and
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
I
So,
I liked it. I liked the way he reacted. I liked the fear they have there too, because he knows he messed up.
yeah, yeah, he's closing everything up. He knows this is the end for him or the house or both of him and
For the
Ellie's spirit.
house.
Yeah, and I I think it's the next day. The guys
Well,
come to pick him up.
how cool is the device that, like, he's holding on to something, because not just because he has a house, but because when they
Hmm.
zoom out, all there is construction for a skyrise in the house,
Yeah, hmm
which tells you like he's been holding on to this for a minute.
a while. Yeah,
Like that told a whole story. The Pixar king of the storytellers. They tell us they had spent 45 minutes just so you understand this guy, and then
Hmm.
spent 10 seconds so you understand where we're at,
Yeah,
and you get it.
and it's like, oh, there's a dog looking at me through this gate. Hey, puppy, please don't bark. I don't like it when dogs bark. Um, and I think it's really funny with when he um, when he launches the house. It's just such a cool, whimsical image. It's just there's so many balloons. It's more balloons than you've ever seen rendered in a film.
It's
And it's
such a well. Also, dude, they spend so much time on the balloons because I was okay. Second time through watching, I was
hmm
looking for things like that, and I was like, wow, they all move so uniquely.
hmm
Like they all have their own patterns and stuff. They didn't just copy paste pattern. If they did a great job of randomizing things with the inside of them. Like phenomenal, and the color palette there compared to how great it has been for the last
oh
10 minutes,
yeah, yeah. It's just
it fills your heart when you
yeah,
see it. You know.
yeah. It just
Ah.
it just like the way it's just such a the score and how it supports that and how like the just the
The
house
little
like
girl in her
yeah.
room,
Hmm.
so good. She sees the colors first.
Yeah.
It's so, oh, I love it. Love it. They do such a good job of, because I mean, that's what a
It's
kid
a
would do, I feel like. It's so
mhm.
genuine.
It's such like a freeing moment too. You're just like, yes, good for him. And just like the house, and I love too that like it's not a clean getaway. It's not like a perfect takeoff. He's like hitting vans and hitting things, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, fine. Just like I don't have to worry about it. I'm in my flying house, and just
I'm gone, yo. Take out my
peace.
life insurance.
Hmm.
I feel
And
like
like,
just the rules that we've established now
hmm
with the world being like, okay, with enough balloons, you can do just about it. You can make anything fly.
yeah, like they're and just like the way that they have it, where it's like he's controlling it with an old TV and a coffee grinder. I think that's such a neat, and like that's probably how you would do it, if you had the a flying house
Well, if you
or
watch
like
in the very
sails or
beginning, his wife, Ellie, she's flying a house when they meet.
hmm and
It's
she's
just
flying it
like,
the same way.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's so I love this movie, and I'm not gonna cry. I'm not.
Hmm.
It. I just wish, man, they love each other so much, Marco.
Hmm.
So much. He designed a flying house after the 9-year-old love of his life.
Hmm.
I'm out, bro. I don't got it. I got nothing
Just
for you. I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm not worthy. Carl's worthy of 90 kids, and that's why he ends up with all those dogs.
hmm and like they I just think it's great that it's like he gets out of the city, he gets into the clouds, and just those images of the there are so many times where the house is surrounded by nothing and is just silhouetted against the sky or silhouetted against like a cave or the night sky, and they're just like the scale of
Background
this.
pictures, man.
It's so
It's
good,
just
yeah.
it's
Wallpapers for
desktop.
days.
Yep,
Hmm.
100%.
And just when you think that he is is free of anything from the city, there's a knock on the door, and guess who it is? It's that Russell kid. And that pan, I love how it like kind of, and then he like does a double take too. He's like, "What the? Please let me in." No, he slams the door. There's that panic in his eyes, in Russell's eyes, where he's like, oh, that's not how I thought it was gonna go. Okay, fine, and he like clinks into the,
When he
trots in the
says
bathroom.
okay, fine, he says okay, he's already in the house.
Yeah,
He's like, you didn't leave my ass out here twice. I learned.
record time, he's in there.
Hmm.
And then like with even before like Carl can say anything, he's like throwing his bag on the ground. He's piloting the house. He's talking, and just his like little his
Such a child, just touching everything.
his little fantasy of like, well, those buildings are close enough, I can touch them. And it's like, okay, quit jerking
Uh,
around, kid. Ah! Well, that ain't
that's
gonna work.
so dark. So like the first time watching it through again, I was like, I don't remember this part. Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, that's why they killed off Russell. Oh my God, you killed
I really
Russell.
was sitting there wondering a few times if this was gonna be like the first time through watching it. I know it's not, but like, what if this all was like a dream and none of it was
Hmm.
real at all? You know? Because I mean, like,
Yeah, yeah.
the chances that a flying house with balloons are very low in real reality. But
Mhm.
like, and so it just makes me wonder like, is he really in a flying house? Is that all
Mhm.
actually happening?
Yeah. I
But I mean, after watching it a bunch of times, yeah, it's real.
yeah, it works. Yeah, and like the oncoming storm and him turning off his hearing aid and only hearing the bass of the lower register of the storm, I think is really
So is
funny.
this movie biting James and the Giant Peach a lot, a little, not enough?
I mean, I think I would say that if anything, it's, I mean, a bunch of strings connected to flying things. Um, I would just say like you could. I'm sure that they picked. There are seeds planted from there, but I feel like the trope of flying things, you know, is as old as time, like a flying
Yeah.
like a. But I'm sure there was inspiration pulled from there.
Hmm.
I'm just glad they weren't the creepy Henry Selick seagulls.
Those are funny looking with like little lips like this.
Yeah, like hello, I'm a
Hmm.
bird. Hi
Um.
there, hi there.
So let's see, trying to
Storm
think where
comes,
we're at.
they crash land. They think he's dead. They don't know where they are.
We're introduced to Kevin.
Hmm. Oh yes,
I think Kevin's such a fun character.
yeah. Oh
He's
yeah.
I used to I had a cat
Hmm.
So first of all, let me talk about Kevin first. Kevin is a bird who we think is boy bird Kevin, who's actually
Hmm.
mama bird Kevin. And so
Hmm.
I say all that to say that I had a cat growing up, and her name was Muffin, and Muffin
Hmm.
was the dopest. And then one day, my aunt comes over, and she's like, "Are you sure Muffin's a girl?" And we're like, "Yeah, Muffin's a girl. Her name's Muffin." And anyway, she goes, "I don't think so." And anyways, Muffin became the Muffin Man real quick. And so I just thought it was funny that Kevin
Muffin Man
is
the cat.
yeah, dude, so good. But I love this whole Kevin like this. It's such a good, it's such a great name for that creature because it doesn't work at all, and that's exactly what works about it, and I love it.
Hmm.
Like like when you remember like being like in first grade, and you all like get a class pet and you had to name it, and you all like be
Hmm.
voting on names.
Yeah,
Kevin, mm,
yeah. It's
money,
just like
it had my vote.
it's too formal to be like a name for something cuddly and like
Yep, it's like having a dog named Winthrop.
Beauregard, Beauregard the puppy. Um, so they figure out that the wind, that moment when the fog rolls out and they
Hmm.
realize where they are, that they're at Paradise Falls. And I think what's neat is the concept of distance in this movie is really interesting because you're like they don't seem that far, and then once they start walking, you're like, oh, they're really far. They're like incredibly far away from that on that
Oh
loop.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes.
And then they meet
I was gonna
Doug.
say the timing of travel to South America, I felt like was very. I don't understand. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would like to just assume that like a storm system just kind of carried him along really, 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 really fast, and like he was out for like let's like it was
Out for
mid
like 12
like
hours, 12 hours or
I
something like
yeah, I would say like he was knocked out or asleep for 12 hours because like it was like midday sunset maybe,
that.
and
Hmm.
then the
And then it
clouds
was
roll in.
daytime the next day.
Yeah, and so but at the same time like flying house movie logic, like let's
How
roll
about
with it. Like
this?
yeah.
Do you think Carl is the most in love of any Pixar character? Most devoted?
Now, if we're
Because
talking on the scale of the power of love, we're going full Huey Lewis on Huey Lewis on this. We're, we're talking about most powerful characters, most powerful love. Um, okay, I'd say it would come down to
I got this one in the bag. I already know who it
okay,
is.
okay, yeah. I'm sitting there going like like between
You said it.
Wally,
It's
Luke.
Wally,
Yeah,
Wally, and Wally. That's it.
yeah.
How many years did he hold on? How many years was that, bro? Was it like 100 years or some shit like that? I forget. You told me it was.
We were figuring out the time. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. With the yeah, it was probably like 70 years or something that they were saying like the rate that he's flying. Hey girl, give me my $2.
Meanwhile, my man over here, the balloon's helium only lasts for like 3 days.
Like,
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
I would say
Wally
that
held
like,
on for years.
yeah, I would say like they're pretty close. Like, and here's why. Because like you've got the what is 70 years to an immortal robot who can be rebuild himself, and what is 3 days to an older man? Like you could sit there, like we're talking equivalents of time relative to the lifespan of the.
Devoted to who, Bo?
Oh no,
Who's he in love with?
I'm talking
No,
about
we got
oh
in the comments. Woody was pretty
oh
devoted too for a toy all of Andy's childhood.
oh
He's
yeah
got
yeah.
but I don't know, man. Woody's very he's very self-serving in the beginning. In the middle of it, I feel like in Toy Story 2, he's I don't know if you'd say it's devoted.
I mean, I think well, like how
He's willing to give up Andy at one point, and then he's willing to go the other way. And then he wants Andy. Like, you know what I mean? Like he goes both ways in this. I wouldn't say it's devotion.
he's a flip flopper, that Woody.
Hmm
But yes,
No,
he is.
no, not always to Andy. He was gonna go to Japan. He was gone. He was already on. He was on the plane. He said, "I want if the toys don't come and save him, he's going over there happily." It's not until he gets presented both ways, until he's presented with some opposition that he decides, you know what, maybe I do love Andy.
Mhm.
But he was ready.
Now, when it comes to Bo, though, I think it's interesting because we could compare it with like the amount of time from I can't remember the title card from Toy Story 4 as to like how long Bo was gone. So
Hmm
she's probably gone for like 5 years or something. Yeah, yeah.
Nobody's perfect. That's true.
I like that we're having fun. We got like we're
Yeah, dude.
throwing down.
I feel
And
like Kevin might also make his way into the powerful Pixar characters.
oh yeah, okay, so Kevin can like Kevin being a flightless bird got
Super
some
speed.
never skip leg day, I'll tell you that.
I'm
Like
thinking like
that jump.
I'm thinking like Joe like Roadrunner speed.
Hmm.
That's what we're looking at here.
Like jumping while under strain, underweight, like Kevin was running while she's jumping on those rocks while pulling a house, while holding Russell, and at different times. And she's
Light,
pretty strong.
very light-footed as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you don't hear Kevin when
yeah.
she's walking around.
I think like it's like a mix. Like there are a lot of instances in this movie of like mama bear strength and like you know um the fight or flight like big strength burst. If you notice, we'll talk about that towards the
Yeah, we
end though.
will, we will,
Yeah,
because that means that's something.
yeah.
Screw it, man. Let's talk about it, dude. It
Okay.
turns into Mission Impossible at the end. It's
Yeah.
crazy. All right, I'm sitting here trying to watch it, and like, oh my gosh, man, I he monkey hangs, bah, bah.
Mm-hmm.
He's going right. I'm talking about Carl. He's just going with his arms. He's supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be like 90 years old, 80 something years old, 70 something years old. I can't do that, and I'm 31 yesterday, dude. I can't do that. Flexed arm hangs. I'm out. Sorry about it.
So is Carl going to be entering like the top 15 at least?
Carl lassos the house over with the garden hose.
It's
Wow.
like
Hits him with the blue streak. Boom, boom. Yeah! Inside. Boom. I mean, what's going on, bro? He's got next level abilities now.
exactly. So jumping to the comments about are you guys as confused as me about Charles Muntz's age?
He's
Yes,
obviously
and
16 years old. He took the it's Captain America, all right? He's actually he's Captain America. Like, listen, hear me out. He's Captain America, and what had happened was Ellie, she didn't get the serum, but he got the serum. And so because of that, she had to go and he didn't, and that's why he's still super strong. And we get super
mhm.
strong Captain America all old. Facts.
That is something I'm curious about. If old Captain America is still like crazy, he's probably still crazy strong
Yeah,
because
he's still definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
God, could you imagine like, excuse me, old man, and he just like decks you and just like, sends you through a wall. With the Carl Muntz's age thing, I'm gonna do two diverging opinions because I just think they're both fun to explore. Um, so if we want like the scholarly version, um, Creativity Inc. by Ed Catmull, he talks about. There's a paragraph I should have looked it up before this. He talks about how um, if it aids the story, you're like you kind of can raise an eyebrow and be like, yeah, I guess he would be like 120, I guess, but that's fine. Like let's see where this goes. and like there's a much more eloquent way that he puts it. But then I also like the concept of like we can. This is where we get fun with the theories and stuff. Where it's like, okay, so Carl's a kid. Let's assume that Charles Muntz is. Let's just say he's old. He looks old for his age because by our standards, older. You know, when you look in the 30s, like you look in a high school yearbook and they look like they're 30. So let's just assume like Charles Muntz is like an upstart startup kind of guy where he's like 25, 30. Still makes him like 120 or something when he's found. And I'm sitting there going, well, like if I was living in the
It's
forest,
the super soldier serum.
telling you, hold up. And like, and we've now entered the ASMR portion where we angrily argue about the age of Charles. This is extremely.
Why don't you
niche.
listen about the Captain America shit I said?
You listen to here, Sean. Let me tell you something. I can't whisper. I'm not good at it.
You want to know how I got this scar?
So like I think though with Charles Muntz you can sit there and jokingly argue that like dude's living in the forest. Dude's living off the land. He doesn't have to worry about taxes. He doesn't have to worry about like really too much. He's got dogs taking care of him. They're cooking him 5-star meals. You know, he's probably also with dogs cooking his meals built up some kind of crazy immunity to every kind of disease. Like he's, you know, his immune system's probably working overtime, so it's just like, you know, he's probably just more white blood cells than anything else, and like that's what's standing him up after all these years. And so like,
So you
I
think
mean,
he's a super soldier?
I would say that he is like a he is he's an explorer who happens to have superhuman abilities that are that are not that are unnatural.
He's
as
definitely
if he
murdered
could-
a lot of people, right? Like we can
Yeah,
agree on that. He's
yeah,
murdered
he
a
admits
lot
it.
of
Yeah,
people.
yeah, that scene's so good. Like I only Christopher Plummer, rest in peace, Christopher Plummer. Only Christopher Plummer could say the line, "Do you want to stay for Cherry Jubilee?" and make it sound so menacing. Like, he's literally like, you want some ice cream with cherries on top? You're gonna die, but you know, it's like,
He
oh,
could
okay,
be 18.
okay, like,
I mean, I'm into it. Look, it was a
yeah,
different time. At
yeah,
like
yeah.
16, you're a full-grown adult.
Ooh. Oh no,
Oh,
I don't think he likes that theory. I don't think he likes.
Marco's getting taken out.
Ah, sorry,
Oh man,
I just was sitting. I don't know, man.
it's your fault, dude. You did that. We could all tell. We all saw it. You
It's safe
provoked
for
that dog.
posterity. You're gonna probably see me
You didn't
jumping like
agree
my.
with my Captain America theory. That was what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. You got some. You're sending your supporters after me. What's going on? They're finding.
That's
How are they
great.
finding me,
Yeah.
Sean? I don't get
Hey,
it.
man, we got a
How
lot
do
of
they?
listeners. We got listeners everywhere, Marco.
You know, I was checking like our listener wheel, and like,
hmm
um,
It's mostly Prague
it's mostly
and
dogs, and there's, there's three
squirrel.
dogs, three, one squirrel. No, I'm good on sunscreen wise. Like I got a nice little dappled lighting here for now. I hope. I don't know. I've got the Clint Eastwood. Sean, let me tell you what I think about Up. I'll tell you a few things. I'll tell you 5 things, maybe 6. I don't know. All my
Oh
impressions
man,
turn into Macho Man Randy Savage now. It's really bad. Sorry about that.
it seems like they all do. You're right.
But it just shows how bad I am at impressions, I guess. And like, there's oh, thanks, man. And so like, you know, when it comes to
When are you
real
coming
life,
back to Cali?
oh, you know, I probably in a couple days, you know, just like chilling,
Are,
chilling out here,
are
getting some sun.
are flights still really expensive?
No, I've been driving. Driving's more fun.
Oh, okay.
I dig it,
I
you know.
understand. I
But
understand.
jumping back to super soldier stuff or lack thereof. Dun-dun. Um,
We could talk about it. It's on Disney Plus.
yeah. So I still need to catch up. I need to catch up on the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So like, um, we'll figure that out. We'll do an extra episode. I keep saying we got so
You
many
got
extra
it.
episodes lined up. We got to do that.
Extra episodes. I got content for days.
Extra. Except get Billy, whatever his face should have been fired.
hmm
Um, a helicopter. See, they found me again. I don't get it. I don't get it.
They know you're there.
Just start playing some Harry Nilsson. Ding, 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 ding. As far back as I could remember, I wanted to be a gangster. I was selling baking powder in great amounts to people who were incredibly important.
Hey man, cops could be listening right now. Be careful, dude.
Hey, if you're the FBI monitor, please know I'm doing the podcast. Turns it off immediately. The FBI created a
um,
podcast, man, and so they
I want to
land.
go back to how crazy he is, Plumber.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
dude.
the Jubilee line.
Hmm.
He's. Let's see. I think him and Clayton have the two most gruesome deaths in Disney history.
Yeah. Well, that's
Who
another
else?
list. Okay, so well, Clayton definitely is in the top. I don't think that there
I can't.
are
I don't think there's
there
anybody more. It's like that's got to be number one.
definitely. And then from there, like, um,
I guess because it's a foot, it's nowhere near as bad. You're right.
oh no no
And
no
this
no no
one,
no,
no, because I'm sitting here
it
thinking like the hanging thing's way worse. But he jumps. I
he
mean,
plummets. He plummets
spoiler
like.
alert, guys. Christopher Plummer jumps out a window to his doom
Hmm.
in the
Oh, in
car
the
from
car from
Cars
Cars.
2. I
Yeah,
don't feel bad for the cars though, because they're cars.
they're
You
Cars.
know,
I but
they
yeah,
don't get personified the same.
I think when it comes to like villain demises, like the one that I feel like is always left off of the list is McLeach from Rescuers Down Under. Do you remember how he dies?
Mm-mm.
He falls into a river that's heading towards a waterfall, and he's like full on like, oh yeah, I got the best idea, this and that, like you don't this and that, and then he looks and he realizes he's gonna fall off of a waterfall, and it just like zooms out and shows him just falling off a waterfall amongst alligators, and I'm like, it's like like any death in Australia is a gruesome one, no matter what. Like the koalas will get you, and but I think what's interesting with Muntz's
Dude,
death
that's
is
that's watching him. I'm replaying it all in my head right now.
yeah.
Did he have a whip in his hand when he was doing that? I feel
Um,
like he had something in his hand.
McLeach,
Yeah,
he had his hat. He had his hat, and
his
he like
hat.
swings it, and it's all wet and it's
Yeah,
floppy, and he's like, "I got you," and he puts it on, and like that movie,
he was
Rescue,
scary.
yeah, dude, give George C. Scotta like that.
Disney movies back then hit way different. That's when Disney was trying to tell stories though, and not just trying to do retellings. You got the
Right.
Great Mouse Detective. You got the Rescuers, the Rescuers Down Under. You got what else did we get at that time?
Well, like at that
Like
time, you had like Fox and the Hound, and you had the
yeah,
Black Cauldron, which God, that movie. Black Cauldron, every time I watch it, I think to myself, like, it's not as bad as I remember. And it's not
it
that
always.
it's just short. It's, the budget cuts and like, because there's these neat things that they did in that movie. There's a shot where they were doing like a process shot on a animated character where it's like the foreground and the ground they're standing on and the character is animated. And then the background is this like rotoscoped clouds. And it looks super
Hmm.
realistic. And I'm like, that's kind of a neat effect.
Hmm.
Um, but
We saw that when we were at the museum, that kind of stuff.
yeah. And like, man, I gotta go back there when I think it's open now. I gotta do a road trip. Like, I think it's the same thing that happened like when I started my last job, where it was like I have split days off, and then eventually I will have 2 days off in a row, and that's when we mobilize. We move out. Autobots,
Autobots,
Autobots.
roll out.
Um, I'm gonna jump to a completely different movie that I need to talk about for 10 seconds. So I had never seen The Last Unicorn. Have you seen that movie?
Never heard of it.
It is a Rankin Bass film. It's the guys who did like the stop motion animagic like Christmas specials and stuff, and they did the Hobbit films and they did a couple other things. And that movie like wrecks you in these really weird ways. And I'm watching it now, going like, I can't believe it that they made this. And you should watch it. We'll talk about it later. But for now, we're gonna head back to Up.
That was
So
nuts, dude. You really did it. That was
you're
a
a
great
good
job there,
prompter. You're
baby.
good. You got the
Yeah.
fingers going.
I
I'm
was like, you
glad
want
you
10
only.
seconds? We'll do
No, I,
it.
I get it. I'm glad that you counted down on your pointer finger though. I was worried I was gonna get
Yeah,
different
yeah,
fingers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oop.
Gotcha.
Ah.
Gotta go
The peace
faster.
sign.
Get it?
Blinked at you.
Almost had you
Anyways,
this time. Um, with the fishing pole. Um,
So we got Mission Impossible. Christopher Plummer's
hmm
a crazy man. He's got his "Here's Johnny" moment when
hmm
he disappears and comes back with a shotgun.
hmm
We got this whole. We're skipping
We're
Carl's
skipping
big
yeah,
scene
yeah,
where like he gets this whole. He allows Kevin to be taken
yeah,
because he wants the house and because he can't let go of his wife.
right,
And
yeah,
we see a moment where he's able to see the rest of the book.
hmm
And cat's out of the bag. Marco's at my house. And so Marco wanted to watch the end of the movie this morning again. And so we did. And I don't like Marco very much because now I've cried 3 times to this movie in the last week and a half. And I
Happy
don't want to
birthday,
cry.
Sean. Time to
Yeah, God
cry.
dang it.
That's
It's
what you
so
get.
sad to watch the things I'm going to do. And it's all the things that she's done. And she's so happy to have had Carl.
hmm
And
It's
there's no time wasted. Because he's
yeah,
so worried that he wasted her time. They didn't have kids. He didn't take her to the place that she was supposed to go.
hmm but at the same
And she
time,
was
just
so happy just to be with him the whole time. And she
hmm
was as in love, if not more in love, as he was.
yeah,
Oh, God.
100%. And it's like
And you
the
see what he's lost, and it hurts so bad.
hmm
Oh.
and it's just like it is a gut punch, and you understand why he's so attached. You understand why he's gonna get his superhuman super soldier strength, and and like
Yeah, man.
what's funny is
She
like
gives him the strength. She's the
yeah,
strength. It's her the whole
yeah.
time.
Like when I watch movies like this, and it rarely happens in animated movies. I'll say that when a movie gives you a sense of peril and usually like looking down and that kind of stuff. Like you ever have it where like you're like, oh, your hands get a little like sweaty from nervousness.
Yeah,
Where you're
because
like,
you're
oh, if I
high
was
up in something.
yeah, and you're like, oh, if I was in that situation, I would be nervous. And like there's so many moments like that where they keep upping the stakes and the peril in that final scene where it's like
Mm-hmm.
you've got Russell hanging from
Rabid
the
dogs.
hose. Yeah, you got the dogs in their planes. And I think what's really nice, okay, so I think what's really good with this scene is that, with the whole movie, is I think it would be safe to assume that no dogs went to heaven because none of them died. Not because they were bad dogs. And
Mm. Say it.
I
Say
know
it.
there's a part where you see some dogs fall off a cliff, but I think they show them landing in water, the usual I'm
You
okay.
do.
They land in water. When the planes crash, they have parachutes. And it's just funny because the dogs at first are played off as like these vicious things, and then it turns into they're kind of the comic relief henchmen. They're the punch clock villains. They're
They're the
there to do a
Goombas.
job. Yeah, and I like at the end when Doug becomes the alpha, they're just like, oh yeah, you're the alpha. Okay, cool. We'll do what you want. And like I thought that was interesting because I feel like if ever there like you anything happens to a dog in a film, like all bets are off. Like even watching I Am Legend, I'm just like,
Meanwhile, Charles Muntz. Yank! You're done.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
done. Sorry, we're all out of parachutes. We can only
mm-hmm.
give you 4 balloons.
Loons, 4 balloons tied to your ankle. That'd be the word.
Yo,
That's
they murder him.
yeah,
Like Pixar murders Muntz. They murder him. And meanwhile, they save every dog, and I am
yeah.
here for that. And that's why Pixar gets my money.
I think I remember when that movie came out. I had a lot of friends who were like, he didn't need to die like that or this and that. And I remember I was like trying to figure out what it was, and I don't know if it is apparent in every Pixar film, but I'd like to think, and I think this is just like a good rule of thumb for family films or certain types of films. The second a character, a villain, threatens the life of a kid,
Mm-hmm.
done. He's done.
Superpowers.
Yeah. It's just
You
like
triggered
you're
superpowers.
yeah, and like the plot armor of that villain, the redemption arc is just sign, seal, deliver. Here's your certificate of death. Prepare to die in a spectacular way.
Well, it puts the whole like the good and evil thing on, and good always prevails. And so you're like, oh, cool, sick. Big bad
hmm
has been identified. It's gonna get taken care of very shortly. And also in these kind of movies, whenever the big bad looks to be at their strongest, is
Yeah.
right before they're gonna get the rug is gonna get taken out.
Yeah, and it's like he's like barreling through. I know, I agree
Was
too.
that
Like in
a
that,
duck?
Look at all the chickens. And the, like Muntz is like barreling through the door and he's like shooting holes in the house and he does, it's like his complete disregard for other people's stuff and lives is more than apparent in that scene.
And
And
Carl doesn't care though.
yeah.
You notice that? Like that's the big change in him is like
Mm-hmm.
Ellie is no longer the house. Ellie
Yeah.
is within him.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie is everything that they've done. Ellie is the love of his life, and the house is now just a house again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like he likes the house, but he loves Ellie. He loves that kid Russell. He loves that dog Doug.
I
He even
think,
talks about Doug the dog. I haven't
yeah,
even.
we got to jump back on that. I'm going to say one more thing about that climactic scene, then we'll jump to Doug. We've got, I think what was so interesting about that death is that other movies, I feel like, would have just left Muntz in the house and oh no, I'm floating
Floating away.
away into the distance. And you're expecting that. You're like, oh, he's stuck in the house. Oh no, they jumped out. Haha. And then he's like, nope, I'm going to try to jump. And here's your, like, it's the Spirit Airlines safety protocol. Here's four
Yeah, that's
balloons tied to your ankle. Go for it. So
you might get your luggage.
yeah, you might get your luggage. You also might plummet to your death. Like,
Yeah.
it's up in the air.
It's a 50-50.
Yeah, flip of a coin. So, Doug the dog is a great character, voiced by Bob Peterson. Hi there.
Doug the dog.
Mm-hmm. I wish the dog. I wonder what the dog next door was saying to me. He was probably saying something mean
Oh,
about my
I know
family.
what he said, Marco. What he was telling you is he was a squirrel.
He goes, let me tell you about my super soldier theorem theory. Super soldier serum theory. Let me tell you about
He's
this.
on the same wavelength. He knows, man. Nah, that dog's wild. He just likes all the dogs in my neighborhood are pretty crazy. They're fun.
But so
So
with
Doug the dog,
Doug the
the
dog.
most lovable character in the entire. Let's talk about. He could be we got most powerful,
Mm-hmm.
most devoted,
Mm-hmm.
love wise. You know what I'm saying? And let's just go for cute.
Cutest.
For
Okay.
like cutest character. I feel like Doug's up there for on the cute levels.
Baby Dory gets a lot of love. We got
Baby
like
Dory and what's Crush's kid?
Squirt.
Squirt's got to be up there for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
dude. Baby Dory, Squirt. Well, we can't
Yeah.
do Baby Dory yet. We haven't seen Baby Dory.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so from the movies that we have seen. Okay, Toy Story. Anything cute in that? I mean, they're all
No,
toys. No.
no,
Bugs Life.
no.
They're bugs. Like,
Flick, Netflix.
Flick.
Dot maybe.
That's appealing.
Dot's the
Like
cutest.
the baby
Let's say
birds.
who's the cutest? Who's the cutest thing in Toy Story 1? Let's start there.
I don't know. See, like you got those like little Tykes toys, or you've got like the I don't know. That's cute. Like there's that doll that has like the pterodactyl head before she had the pterodactyl head. But like that
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know. Like
thinking. I don't know, man.
it's tough because even like with
Rex might be the cutest.
like he's got a good appeal to him. Or like the
Yeah, I
sheep,
don't know.
like Bo Peep sheep. Like they're pretty adorable looking, even though they're made of glass.
Hmm.
And
Okay,
then
so
Bugs,
Toy Story, not nothing. I
nothing
think
too
Dot's the
much.
cutest in Bug's Life. Nobody
Toy
else is really
Story
cute.
2. I mean, you got Bullseye. Bullseye's pretty adorable.
Bullseye's cute. That's it for sure. Bullseye
And
wins that
then
one. Okay.
Monsters Inc.
There's a
Pro-
few, isn't there? There's what's the guy who gets 2319? That dude,
Carl, I think his name is. I forget
Carl.
his.
He's cute as heck, dude. Getting all straight and whatnot. Feeling real good today, Bob.
I'm on a roll.
uh,
Roz, no,
Boo
what are you
is
talking about? Roz is
Boo.
right there, Sean. Roz is right there, and you're saying,
What up, Roz?
hey
Yeah,
there,
right.
Sean. Take
You bring those reports like I told you. You're supposed to file those weeks ago, Sean.
just
Ooh, I like it when you talk dirty to me.
No,
You're
no,
fired.
no, no. X out. I'm out of here. Where's the ejector seat? Get me out of this podcast. It's gone off the rails
See
too
me
much.
after work, Sean.
Roz, you oozing blossom. I need to use
Oh
that.
my
I need to
God,
call
man.
someone an oozing blossom, and either they're going to punch me or they're going to find it funny because it is a Monsters Inc. reference. And if a love built on Monsters Inc. cannot fall, um,
So
and then
Boo, I think makes the cut as well.
yeah, yeah,
Boo,
I
Boo's cute
think
as
so.
heck.
And
And
then
then after that, when we watch Nemo,
Finding Nemo.
Baby Nemo,
Nemo,
adorable.
you know.
I still think Squirt takes the cake on Cutest though. And that
Yeah, when it comes to a throwdown, like I don't know who's the cutest and most powerful between. Um,
oh, that's up. Okay, once we get to the end of this whole thing, we can pin them up against each other and see
yeah,
what happens.
yeah.
Because
And
maybe they
then
use their cuteness to win. You never know.
yeah, we've got Squirt, and then after that we've got Cars. Who's the cutest character in Cars, man? I mean, there's the twins,
Oh,
little like tiny cars. Beep beep beep.
would it be not Luigi, but his
Guido.
what's his guy? Guido.
Guido, please stop.
It's gotta be Guido, I think. That or you know who it could be? You know
Hmm.
the really rusty guy who always like shakes off everything?
Yeah, yeah. The
That
guy
guy.
that like falls apart. I am covered in hemorrhoids.
Yeah, basically, dude. Disgusting.
It's like
And then
Ratatouille. Ratatouille after Cars.
Ratatouille, we got Remy, I guess. And then
Remy.
what's our main guy in that? What's his name?
Linguini.
Uh
Al-
Linguini.
Alfredo Linguini.
He's gotta be yeah,
He's got his
those two
appeal.
I feel like
He's got
I
his
mean like
appeal.
he's annoying, but he's supposed to be, you know.
I mean, there's those. I mean, the rats have like kind of their funny little jazz hand dance in the club. I think that's kind of funny. Like if you watch them, they're literally doing this. For those of you listening at home, Marco is doing a really dumb kind of like bouncy dance where he's doing
It's
jazz
the
hands.
Rat Pack.
It's the Rat Pack. Starring Patton Oswalt as Frank Sinatra.
Which then brings us to here, right? Because last week.
Wally.
Oh, Wally. What about the Bug? Bug and Wally's pretty cute.
Yeah. Okay,
And
so
then what's the robot that we love that has a whole genesis of being like the cleaning robot?
Mo.
Mervin or something?
Mo.
Mo is mad adorable.
Mo's got a good appeal. However, if we're throwing his little bug into the mix, I think he's gonna win. He's literally a cockroach. You cannot destroy them unless you like drag him underwater.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Where does the cockroach go on the power scale?
Ooh, okay, so like
who takes him out?
Who takes him out?
Wood Carver's the only one that can beat him.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just imagining the anime trope of like, I can't defeat him. Just punch him harder. It's like, I guess I'll do that. It's like, yeah. Like Mr. Incredible going all like, dum, 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 dum.
Like, yeah, just taking it like it's nothing. And at the end, like, finally.
Yeah. And then like Mr. Incredible's all like, he's all like, yeah. He's all like tucked down. The cockroach is like, whoosh,
Incredible's hands are all mangled from just
God. I can't punch the floor any harder. I can't. I'm not strong enough. You don't have to be. I'm a cockroach. Just takes it. Yeah, I think.
Disease.
Yeah, I think the cockroach is now in like the top two. Like Eve's lasers could do some damage, but that cockroach, he's a wily fellow.
Wally could beat Wally and the Woodcarver are the only two that can beat it, I think.
Teams up, yeah, because that's a pretty hearty crunch he makes when he runs him over. Like that's not a.
Oh, he crunched him.
Yeah, he's like a bag of chips, just crinkling.
Yep.
Got Doug in the mix. You got the portion where Kevin's a mom. Kevin's babies are pretty cute.
Yeah.
Big battle sequence.
Kevin's babies or Doug?
Ooh. I would say
Yeah.
Doug. I'd say Doug. Yeah, because you know what does it? Okay, so like Doug may be slobbery with like the tennis ball, but
He
something
loves
about
you.
that Foley, whoever did the Foley for the birds, very good on that kind of sound. Like for those listening at home, I hope someone is playing this on like a crazy like 5 point surround system and just gets yes. And that was the sound of Marco like making a bird gagging sound
What
today
about
on
today on? Go ahead.
no, no, today on bird gagging sounds. And now a pigeon being gagged. Coo, coo. It's like, and now a duck being gagged. It's like- and now
That's
moving
pretty
on
good.
to Canada's angriest export, the Canadian goose. It's just like that's our next podcast. He'll be the sounds of
It's gonna
birds
be
dying.
riveting, guys. It's
Yeah,
gonna be riveting. What's good
five
is
stars.
it's unlike this one. It's actually long form, so it'll be a 4 hour podcast.
Just like it'll be like the anti-sleep playlist. We'll just have like nature sounds and then just birds
They'll
choking.
always be randomized too. So like right
Yeah.
when you think it's done, you're
Oh, I can see that that's a seagull being hit by a beach ball. Yep, yep, that'll do it. Um, so we kind of chugged through the movie, and we jumped to the climax, and it's fascinating. And there are some great gags in this movie. Russell slamming into the window.
yeah.
Um,
Him being
the
able to utilize the leaf blower, I think
yeah,
is a really cool another little
hmm
device they use.
you've always wanted to do that. You always wanted to
100%.
like ride a leaf blower and like use it as a jetpack. Um, and then yeah, like for those of you that are listening and can commentate while we're talking, if there's anything we've left out, just like throw it in the in the comments there. But yeah, they all's well that ends well. The house lands on top of Paradise Falls and is there
Well, hold on.
forever.
Let's talk about Russell for a little bit. Russell starts off as like as many badges as he has. He
Hmm.
doesn't have any self confidence really,
Yeah. Hmm.
and a lot of that stems from his lack of guidance in from an adult. It sounds like his
Right.
parents aren't really there, and
Yeah.
they keep alluding to it.
Hmm.
And he's got latchkey parents. It sounds like, and it's it's okay, but it is what it is.
Hmm.
And by the end of the movie, two things happen. Carl realizes that he still has legacy
Hmm.
and opportunity between Doug, these dogs, and Russell.
Hmm.
Mainly Russell. And he sees so much of himself in Russell. And Russell doesn't have an Ellie. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
Carl got Ellie early. He had somebody who, because one of the things that's supposed to be made clear is that Carl was a loner.
Hmm.
Carl didn't have a lot of friends. He was a bright, happy young child, but he wasn't somebody who he didn't. There wasn't everybody just lining up to be Carl's friend.
Yeah.
Kind of in a similar way with Russell,
Hmm.
and you just you see the circle come back where Carl realizes that he can make such an impact in this child's life,
Hmm.
and he does. And it's rad because the happy ending you get isn't just he saves all these dogs. He's yeah good. Oh, sorry. Um, it's not that he just saves little dogs. It's that he saves little dogs. They all have a wonderful like. They're all gonna live on. Which kind of like is he stealing the dirigible now?
Yeah.
So now he stole that and like because he's dead, we're just gonna be cool with that.
It's free
Just
real estate,
saying.
man. It's free. It's free.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of really dope. Really crazy. I don't know.
I just like the
Um,
thought that like I would like to assume that to get Russell back home, he has to take him back to the same city. So I want you to imagine like the local old guy in your town lifts his house off and flies off. And let's assume like less than a week later, dude's rolling up back with a dirigible.
do you think the okay? Do you think there's a skyscraper now? Like you think they just built on the house where it was
No, I
at?
can see, I'm going to assume that the Union moves very slowly and
Yeah.
that maybe that house, I wonder what's there now. That's something that's one of those fun,
Yeah, because I mean, like they could do an up to.
Yeah,
I don't know what the story. I mean, like
up to.
I'd be interested to know what happens to Russell and Carl.
Mhm. I'm sure they're just
Maybe
exploring
just
the
fucking
world.
kill Carl real quick. You know, but do this one. Just go ahead and kill Russell. Just go ahead and just nix Russell out of here. Make me cry again. You know, just do it. Just don't cook the dogs. Okay,
Don't do it.
can't take it. God, man, this movie punishment. I can't believe you made me watch that ending again, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
You're
Saul.
mean,
I
bro.
made up for it by
You're
by
mean.
I need to come up with something that I that I did to make up for it, but I'll come up with that later. Um,
Oh man.
so yeah, the shall we talk about the short that opened the film?
Yeah, partly
Yeah,
cloudy.
Partly Cloudy, directed by Peter Sohn, about a very bulletproof stork and the friendship he has with his little baby making cloud friend.
Yep.
That was a very odd way for me to put it, but I think you get the point. And I
It
think,
is. It's kind of like how it plays on the whole tale that storks drop off babies for all the parents of the world, whether they're daddy dogs or cats or mommy people. It's
mhm,
just they're dropping off babies, and the way the babies are made is in the clouds, and it's from the get go. Me,
it's
Marco,
just,
and I were rolling.
yeah, I forgot how funny that short is. I did the only thing I remember from that short is the the thing that always I think about when I watch it is the moment when he gets like the cloud goes from incredibly angry to incredibly sad is done so well because that's what
Yeah,
people you do like that's just a natural emotion I think where you just go from like oh I'm so mad about okay fine and like he's he's
angry to sad.
yeah and it's just like it's done so well and you understand why and then the reveal that it isn't what he thought is so nice and like
It's not just so nice, also incredibly relatable.
yeah.
Because our emotions happen so quickly.
Hmm.
Sometimes they happen before you have reactions before an action can even take place.
Yeah.
So he's reacting to something that hasn't even happened yet.
Hmm. And then I just like I love I think what is nice is like the he's not in competition with the other clouds. He's not trying to beat the other clouds. He's just trying to do his own thing. And I think it's funny too that you see the dynamic that all the clouds and the storks have, and you still see that even though he's like giving him a shark, a porcupine, a
They
ram,
were the
they're
gags that were
buds.
so good,
Yeah,
so good.
it's just the alligator on his head, just the violence in
To
which that
open,
alligator.
bro,
Yeah.
it closed all the way, dude.
Hmm.
It's so good. And they're all kind of cute too, though. We were talking about they're
Yeah.
like even the crocodile, this big old
Hmm.
cartoon eyes.
Um,
Uh,
I think it's just that's a really cute short. That's why I like clouds.
definitely.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
but yeah.
Dude, this whole movie and the short included, I feel like it kind of pulls back a lot to the color palette we're used to from Toy Story.
Hmm.
You get a lot of those just really fun yellows and blues and
Hmm.
reds that, they pop really well. So it's a very, maybe that's how they do it. The way they're able to make this such a sad movie is they give you such a happy color palette.
Hmm. It's disarming. You don't think it's coming. Yeah,
100%
because
that.
like the only times that I feel like the color, I mean, I'm sure like if we were to really dive into this off the top of my head, I just feel like the colors were very muted at the beginning in
Yep.
certain moments of sorrow, and then there's color moments for emotion. But for the most part, after he gets out of the city, the colors are just so,
Vibrant. Yeah,
yeah,
they hit.
so beautiful.
Love it.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts, Mr. Beeman? I think we did plenty of pretty good our usual trademark tangents, and
Yeah.
yeah. So, right now, I would like to say that our schedule is going to be interesting. We're going to do our best to try to go stick with the weekly, but that's all about the stars aligning and stuff
Yeah,
like
we
that.
had a little bit of discussion. Basically, it's like as long as we can upload on the Spotify and on all the other platforms to make sure it's saved, it makes it to where you can digest it however you'd like.
Hmm.
We're both kind of in flux. Marco just started a new job. I'm starting a new job in a couple weeks. I'll be working for Wild and Out, which will be pretty rad. Um, with that being said, I won't know my schedule either. So come June, we'll see exactly what weeks we or what days of the week we post here live.
Hmm.
But we'll still always try to make sure it's uploaded weekly for you on Spotify, Apple Music, and what's the other one? One more?
Anchor, I think we're on a couple, and if you are on any of those services, please give us a good review. Give us a
Mm-hmm.
little 5-star rating, helps us out. We're actually going to record some new stuff today that will be going into the podcast later. You'll hear that later, and yeah, like I think it's kind of funny how like I was in my head I was going, the podcast is going to end at this point if we upload once a week. But now I think that schedule is going to be pushed out a little more, and I think it's going to give us a little more time to collect our thoughts and have some more fun with it. So for those of you that have tuned in, thank you. Tell your friends, and yeah, I think we're all set.
All right, buddy.
Yep.
Peace and
See,
love, Marco. I'll see you in a couple seconds.
see ya. Thank
Later,
you,
dude.
everyone.